This show is brought to you by HostBaby.com, web hosting for musicians.
It's episode 51 of Music Marketing Monday. We are entering Area 51, the world of the amazing, the mind-expanding, the miraculous, the unthinkable. That's right. This episode is all about blowing people's minds with your music. And how do you figure out how to do that? Yeah.
Information, inspiration, motivation for the modern musicpreneur.
Time to start your week right.
Here it comes, Music Marketing Monday, with your host, Bob Baker,
Mr. Buzz Factor,
and Billy Gryzak.
the music marketing mind.
Ready? Are you sure?
Set.
Here it comes. Swing, baby.
Welcome to our own version of Project Blue Book. That's right. We've been doing research for years to find out if aliens really do exist. And, well, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But that's not what this show is really about. This is a music marketing show. Yeah. Welcome to Music Marketing Monday. My name is Billy Gryzak. I have been, and always will be your friend and a full-time working musician. And this guy over here in the corner looking suspiciously like he just stepped off an alien extraterrestrial transport.
Hey, it's Bob Baker here, Mr. Buzz Factor. And yes, you said something that I was going to say something brilliant to, and I have since forgotten it. But hey, it's great to be here anyway. Maybe some kind of Vulcan mind meld has taken over me. A little tribute to Leonard Nimoy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring you down. We were speaking of aliens, though, and,
Well,
science.
yeah. Well, you heard that, I have and always will be your friend. I kind of threw that in there, too. So anyway, man, yeah. So since we're here alone now, since everybody has actually just, hit eject or stop and have moved on,
we can set, eject.
we can have a nice little chat, just the two of us now. I was checking out your website at Mr. Buzz Factor there, and I noticed you have a really awesome blog, and it's called Productivity Hacks for Musicians. And I was going through it, and I noticed only 4, but you said there was more. And I asked you to read me some, and we got to one, I don't know what number it is, and it blew my mind.
It did blow your mind, and it's amazing because that's the topic of today's show. So I put out a book recently called The 5-Minute Music Marketer, and there was a little section in there. It's called 8 ways to boost your productivity or something. 8 things to do to supercharge your planning and productivity. I took 4 of them and posted them in a blog post on my website, but I was kind of going over some of the other ones that didn't make it to the blog. It's in the ebook, and you were really intrigued by this, and we're gonna create a whole episode on this topic because it's very important. Would you like to start maybe for just me having, going ahead and reading this little section like we're at a, coffee shop and doing poetry readings or something?
Yeah, that would be great. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend Bob Baker to the stage.
It's instead of clapping, you know what they do in those, the beatnik kind of things, they snap their fingers. Can we just do that?
I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it.
All right, there we go. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all coming today, and please make sure and tip your barista, whatever they call it. Try the caramel lattes. They're wonderful here. This is a reading from my book, The 5-Minute Music Marketer, from a section on productivity. This will be number 6 on the list, and it reads as such: Spend a few minutes answering this question. Most of the time in our pursuit of a music career, we unconsciously ask and answer a lot of questions internally. Some examples would be, did I pack everything I need for the gig tonight? Or who is the best person to contact at the local alternative music newspaper? Or what should I post on Facebook related to my music? Now, these are all necessary questions that can lead to productive answers, but every now and then, I find it helpful to sit down and ask yourself an open-ended, mind-expanding question that could lead to a breakthrough idea. So here's a great question to start with. Ready? What could I do with my music or my live events that would blow people away? Now, think about it. What an awesome question. Spending even a few minutes generating answers to that question could pay huge dividends. Maybe it will lead to a fresh idea that will garner lots of media exposure, or maybe that crazy idea you came up with can be refined and turned into a profitable sales promotion. The thing is, you'll never uncover these brilliant ideas if you just stick with your routines and you never challenge yourself to think bigger. So give it a shot. You might be surprised by what you come up with. And scene. So there's the passage, and I read it to you earlier, and you were blown away.
My mind has been blown again, Bob.
So, this may seem like a simple thing, but don't you agree? Instead of just going, I guess a lot of people. I was much better when I was reading the text. But I think a lot of us as human beings, we think we have more tunnel vision that doesn't always serve us. And so, for instance, I'll often, I run into a musician at a conference or something, and they'll say something like, man, I've been trying to get this venue to return my call, or I really want to play, this particular type of club, and what do I need to do? And so their question they're asking themselves is, how do I get the attention of X person at Y club, and how do I play that? And that's cool. You want to have specific questions like that, but I think sometimes asking a bigger question, how can I reach a ton of people? What could I do that would really blow people away? Can actually be more helpful. Your thoughts, sir? Like, why did it resonate with you? And you said, let's do a whole show on that.
Well, for me, what it's about is, standing out. Finding a way to differentiate yourself, to be noticed, and it's a noisy world out there. And whether you're trying to get the attention of a buyer, you're trying to get the attention of a new music fan, you're trying to get the attention of a venue, or you're just trying to get people's attention at the show. Think about that for a moment. Maybe you're the opening act, or maybe you're playing a new club, you're playing in a new city, getting people's attention. If you're just doing the same old things that everybody else is doing, you're just not going to stand out. You're just not going to get attention. You definitely are not going to blow anybody's mind. And I think it's time to say, am I just, one of the herd, or am I, standing out, as the leader, or the purple cow, to quote Seth Godin, in the field of the black and white cows. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I had actually, I think I mentioned in the last episode that I'm writing a new book called The Empowered Artist that I'm really excited about. And I just wrote a section in there recently that kind of ties into this. And it talks about how creative people have tunnel vision. I also said they have amnesia in certain ways. So like when it comes to like creating your art or your music, you're creative and you think outside the box, and you don't stick with traditions, and people can be just so creative and genre bending and all this stuff when it comes to creating the actual art itself. But then when it comes to those business aspects like marketing or sales or getting exposure, they like forget that they're creative people and they stick to, it's always been done this way. So they let you know what I mean? They take the tried and true, what they think is the traditional safe path to marketing and promoting themselves, which is what the show is about. And I think it does them a disservice. Why don't you apply the same creativity to those things? Am I right?
Well, no. I mean, you're totally right.
No. Yes.
No, seriously. I mean, to the point where it's like, okay, you put all this time and effort into your music, but then you just kind of drop the ball when it comes, once you're done recording. You know what I'm saying? For instance, or once you've put your show together. Here's a funny thing. You're familiar with Tom Jackson. I
was actually just thinking about him. Great music marketing minds think alike.
Yeah, they do, man. And even former ones.
Yeah.
And he has onstagesuccess.com, and the story that I'll never forget was when he was asked to work with Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift's I don't know if it was her stage manager or her manager. I know it wasn't Rick Barker, but maybe it was like the next guy, whatever. When her record company was going to bring Tom Jackson in to work with her to make her live show, more mind-blowing. The original response from her people were, "What do we need you for? The band already knows how to play the songs."
Mm.
And right there, that mindset can kill you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just not about knowing how to play the songs. It's just not about knowing, that you have the right gear. It's not about knowing that you recorded the CD. It's like, now this is where the work begins. Now, how do you stand out and take what you've got to the next level? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, and basically, I was thinking the exact same thing with Tom, because I've heard him speak many times, and I've actually presented at his events in Nashville. And he says you pour all this time and energy getting everything right, every little nuance in the studio, and then when you go out to promote the record with live gigs, you just sort of wing it. You just throw yourselves out there. Why don't you put the same amount of work and intensity and thought into your live shows? And that's his whole bit, is that the live shows are the perfect opportunity to connect with an audience and create moments. And the same can be said with marketing, promoting, sales. You just sort of wing it, and then you fall back on patterns. So I've always been told I have to do a press release and I need a press kit. Well, do you really? Or is that just a knee-jerk reaction, or is that really what's going to serve you best? Why not think the same way? Be more like an artist when it comes to marketing?
I mean, you're a creative person, okay? I'm talking to you right now. You're listening. You are a creative person, and you're a smart person. We know this because you're listening to our podcast, okay?
Yes.
So
indeed.
You're creative and you're smart. Now, why not take that smartness and that creativity and apply it to everything else that you do and watch what happens? You know what I mean? So for instance, I'll give you an example, and also creative ways to do everything, like even getting the gig. One thing that I loved, there was this one group that instead of sending out a traditional press kit or promo package or whatever, they would actually send out these popcorn boxes, movie popcorn boxes, and they would have their CD in there and a little T-shirt, and they would put some microwave popcorn in the thing, and when it would show up, it was a popcorn box. And you know what? You're going to notice the popcorn box with all the little goodies in it before you're going to just notice a manila envelope or a letter. You know what I mean? And I thought that was pretty creative and a great way to blow somebody's mind and get their attention. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's like, what can we do just to like you said, set ourselves apart, create those moments. If it's a mind-blowing idea that you're trying to get for a live show, this is really probably a lousy example, but I was in a band years ago, and the guitar player had written this song. It was called Slammin' Ham. I don't know.
Slammin' Ham.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Frank Zappa-esque song where it was kind of bizarre. It's about
Slammin' Ham.
It was about eating ham. Yeah, we made this whole song about it. It was very intricate and funky, and it was just fun. And so, as at one of our band practices, we were joking around about what we could do when we played it live. And so, how this is probably not so in vogue now, but they used, you get people to, like, I don't know, chug shots or something and get the crowd, So what we did is we wanted to borrow that idea and apply it to slamming ham. So I would go to the store on the way to the gig and buy a package of budding sandwich ham, and we would challenge someone who could come up and eat the entire thing of ham on stage in front of a cheering crowd, and it's just a stupid idea, but it was memorable and fun for the people that were there, and it made it more than just, we're going to play a song,
And what's interesting was, again, you found a way to take a song, you're saying it's intricate, it's funky, it's Zappa-esque. Typically, that's not, the kind of song that most people are going to, a lot of people don't really get into that stuff so much. It's a little maybe over their heads of the typical, pop audience or whatever. I don't know what your audience was at the time, but you found a way to take a song that actually had some, pardon the pun, meat to it.
Exactly.
And turn it into the most memorable part of the night. I think that's totally brilliant. You know what I mean? The craziest thing I've seen recently that blew my mind, I was at Summerfest last year, and do you remember Berlin? The band did Take My Breath Away. No More Words.
I do, yeah.
Turi Nunn, I believe her name is. Anyway, we went and saw her show, and it was a riot, man. In the middle of the show, this gigantic security guy. I mean, he was huge. Stood up by the stage, and like she got up and sat on his shoulders. This is crazy. And she did this song like something called like "Touch Me," or